Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Business Telikilaas. I'm Hamida Muhammad and I'm a teacher from Kalafan School. In today's lesson, we'll be talking about the forms of business organization. So before we move to lesson, let's first mark the attendance. You can use QR code or you can follow the link and make yours present. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to define partnership business, identify advantages and disadvantages of partnership business, and identify the differences of sole proprietorship and partnership business. So before we move to partnership business, first let's recap what we have studied in previous lesson. First thing that we have studied is what the business is. So what is meant by business? So a business is an entity that engages itself in economic activities seeking to make a profit. So we are selling goods and services in order to make profit. Next is we have discussed about the aims of business organizations. So there are two main aims of business organization. Do you remember what are they? So first main aim is maximizing profit or making maximum profit from the business, and second objective is provide quality services. And next part is about the private and public sector business organizations. So do you remember what is the difference between private and public sector business organizations? So organizations that are owned and operated by private individuals in order to make profit, that's private sector business organizations, and organizations that are owned and operated by the government in order to provide quality service, that is public sector business organization. For example, here we can take IGMH as a public sector business organization, and here other clinics as a private sector business organizations. And last part we have discussed in previous lesson is about the sole proprietorship. So sole proprietorship is the business which is owned and operated by a single person. So when one person is involved in a business, own the business and plus taking all the decisions by himself, that's a sole trade business. And we have discussed about advantages and disadvantages also. So these are two advantages of sole proprietorship. First one is owner has full control over the business and he enjoys all the profit alone, as there is no other one involved in the business organization. And disadvantages include limited capital, as there is no other one who can invest in the business organization in sole proprietor. And also he may not be able to raise large amount of capital from his own savings or from other lenders even. Last point is there is no one with whom he can share the losses or the risk of the business. So this is what we have discussed in previous lesson, and now let's start with partnership business. So what do you think? What is meant by a partnership business? So obviously the word itself we can say that it's about a partner, so it will be more than one person. So it's a legal form of business operation between two or more individuals who share management and profits. So in a partnership there will be two or more than two who are involved in business management, and also they will be sharing the business profit and also the losses or the risk of the business. So partnership business is a legal form of business operation between two or more. So it means at least there should be two people in partnership business. And they are individuals who share management. They will be taking part in managing the business, and also they will be sharing the profit and loss from the business. So now let's move to advantages and disadvantages of partnership business. So when there are two people involved in business, what could be the advantages? So first advantage is more capital. Now what happens in sole trade is, as it is a one person, he may not be able to raise large amount of capital, but when it is more than two people, each one will be investing in the business. So they will be able to raise more capital than a sole trade business. So the first advantage of a partnership business is they will be able to raise more capital. And second advantage is business losses and the risks can be shared. So the loss they get, the risks they are having, they can be shared among the partners. So each partner, the amount of loss they get will be reduced. So these are the two advantages of partnership business. First one is they will be able to raise more capital, and second advantage is business losses, risks can be shared among all the partners. Now let's move to disadvantage of partnership business. First disadvantage is they have to share the profits among all the partners. So if we are having a partnership business, if you and one of your friends has become a partner, the profit you get should be shared among you two. It means between the partners. The amount you get will be lower now because you have to share the profit. So that's the first disadvantage of partnership business. The amount of profit we get from business have to be shared among all the partners. Next one is the conflicts. Here conflicts means disagreements among the partners. Now if it is my own business like a sole trade, I will be taking all the decisions that I want. I don't have to discuss it with anyone. So there won't be any disagreements between anyone, me and any other one. But in partnership what happens is when they take the decision, they have to discuss with each other. So there can be conflicts. For example, when there is a two partner like Ahmad and Ali, they want to start a business. One may say that they will be located in a certain place. Other may not be agree with it. Or one may say that they are going to have more labor than machinery. But Ahmad or Ali may not be agree with it. So here there are disagreements among partners. So there can be conflicts, disagreements which can dissolve the partnership. These are the two disadvantages of partnership business. First one is they have to share profits among partners, and second disadvantage is there can be conflicts between the partners. Now here is a small case study. You have to read this very carefully. Now there are two friends, okay? Shina and Zaina had been friends for a long time. These friends share a common interest in beauty and fashion. So they have an interest in beauty and fashion. Shina had done some makeups for her neighbors and family friends. So Shina had some experience in doing makeups. So now what she is thinking, it was not long before she realized that there is a demand for small businesses to have affordable beauticians. So now she has realized that if she starts such a business, there will be demand. So she is thinking now, yeah, we should start a salon or a business so that they can do makeups and they can earn money. She decided to start a business. So she has discussed her business idea with Zaina. So she has discussed the business idea with her friend, and she has asked if she would like to combine capital and take an active role in the business with her. So now Shina is suggesting her or asking her to take part in her business activities. So it means she should be actively involved in business managing, and Shina and Zaina are equally responsible for the business risks and rewards. So they will be sharing all the risks and rewards equally. So this is the small case study where there are two friends. They are having an idea to start a business together, and they will be sharing the responsibilities, profit and losses equally among two partners. So now let's answer some of these questions. Okay, this is about that little case study. So what do you think? Which type of business that Sheena and Zaina will be starting? That's a partnership business. We can't say it's a sole trade business because it's more than one person. If Sheena only starts that business, then she will be considered as a sole trade business or sole trader. But here there are two people, Sheena and Zaina, both are involved in business. So they both own that business. So that's a partnership business. What are the advantages of partnership business? So what are the advantages that Sheena and Zaina will be getting when they start a partnership business? So first one is losses can be shared. Yes. At the initial stage, if they get a loss or the risk can be shared between Sheena and Zaina. So the amount of loss that each have to cover will be lower because it will be shared among those both. And second one is more capital. So now in that partnership business, both Sheena and Zaina both will be investing in the business. Both will be buying resources. So the amount of capital will be higher. Okay, next question, what are the disadvantages of partnership business? So if Sheena started partnership business with Zaina, what could be the disadvantages? So first one is they have to share profits among partners. So now Sheena have to share the business profit with Zaina as well because they both are partners in that business organization. So they both have to share the profits equally among them. So that is the first disadvantage because we have to share profit. Second one is conflicts. Now when the business starts, Sheena may be having some other idea while Zaina may be having some other idea like buying resources or providing services or where to locate their salon, or are they going to go homes and do makeups, or how they are going to conduct or have that business. So there can be conflicts because of different perspectives. One may think in other way and other person may think in another way. So this leads to conflicts at the business. So these are the disadvantages of partnership business. First one is they have to share profits among all the partners, and now there will be conflicts when they take decisions or during the managing business. Now one more task for you. Here you have to decide that statement is for sole proprietorship or for a partnership business. In next slide, I will be showing some points. You have to identify, is it an advantage for a sole trader or partnership business, or is it a disadvantage for sole trader or partnership business? Now here we can see a sole trade means one person is there, and partnership there will be two minimum. So it's more than two people involved in the business. Now first point, owner has the full control of the business. So is it the advantage or disadvantage, or which business gets it? What do you think? So this is an advantage that sole proprietorship gets. As he is the only one involved in the business activities, he gets this advantage. Owner has the full control over the business. Second point is losses can be shared. So in which business we can share the losses? Is it possible in sole trade? No. So that is the advantage of partnership business. They will be able to share their losses among all the partners. Owners suffer all the loss alone. So in which business it happens? Yes, it will be happening in sole trade business. owner has to take all the risks by himself. There is no one with whom he can share the losses. So this is a disadvantage of sole proprietorship. Share in profits. Which business it occurs? Is it happening in sole trade business? Do they have to share profits in sole proprietorship? No. That's a disadvantage of partnership business, as they have to share their profits among all the partners. Like in example of Shina and Zainer's case, they have to be sharing their profits among both. Next point is the conflicts. Where it happens, conflicts. Is there conflict in sole trade business in decision making process? No. It is a disadvantage of partnership business, because as there are two people involved in the business organization, they will be having different ideas, different perspectives, which can lead to conflicts of the business. So this is a disadvantage of partnership business. Next one is enjoys all the profit alone. So if it is alone, means only one person is there. So this is an advantage of sole proprietorship business. As a sole trade, they will be, or he will be able to enjoy all the profit alone. There is no other owner with whom they have to share it. Limited capital. So this is a disadvantage of sole proprietorship. As it is a single person, he or she may not be able to raise large amount of capital. And where it happens in more capital, in which business? Is it sole trade or partnership business? In which business they can raise more capital? Yes, that is an advantage of partnership. As it is involved more than one person, they will be able to raise more and more capital. Okay, let's watch a video here. Now, before watching this video, I want to say that there are many advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietorship and partnership. Even I have not explained it in these lessons. Okay? According to that outcomes, I have explained some of the points which is required. But in this video, you will be able to learn more advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietorship and partnership business. Okay? So let's watch this.
Hello, and welcome to Economics in You. I am your host, Mr. Samuelson. Today we are looking at a couple of different ways of running a business: sole proprietorships and partnerships. So let's take a look. Let's first look at sole proprietorships. A sole proprietorship is a business which is owned by a single person. Just one person owns and operates that business. The proprietor has many roles and has to do many things within their company, especially when it's a startup. Maybe when it's a little bit larger, they could hire people to come in and do some of this work for them. But they have to be pretty successful in order for them to be able to do that. Most sole proprietorships start with just one person and maybe an employee or a family member that can help them. This is actually most businesses in the United States. Many businesses are run this way. In the US, there are about 18 million sole proprietorships. And when you drive through the streets of town and you look around and you see businesses up there, unless it's a chain that you're familiar with, chances are it's a sole proprietorship that you are looking at. There are plenty of advantages to starting and running a sole proprietorship. You get to be your own boss. Nobody is going to tell you what you got to do with your business. Now, some people might tell you what you should do with your business so that you don't fail, but ultimately the decisions are yours. You can shape your business in any way that you want. If you want to start a business that all it does is sell replacement parts for model trains, you can do that, and good luck to you. Sole proprietorships also are an advantage because the proprietor receives all the rewards of their success. if they are wildly successful, they don't have to share that extra cash with anybody. It is all theirs. Additionally, in a sole proprietorship, your taxes are usually pretty low. We went over this with the last lesson, where in a sole proprietorship, you get to deduct all your business expenses, only pay taxes on your profits, and that tax rate is reduced significantly because of those business deductions. Now, some disadvantages. Getting a sole proprietorship up and running is extremely hard work. The standard work week in the United States for most people is a 40-hour work week. Sole proprietors, they don't work 40-hour work weeks. They work 60, 70, 80, 90-hour weeks, especially in the first couple of years when they're getting their business up and running. It's extremely hard work and very time-consuming to do so. Sole proprietors also have something called unlimited liability. Unlimited liability is, when we talk about risk, this is what we're talking about. What this means is that any debts that you accrue as a business, that is, if you take out a large loan in order to purchase a building to put your bakery in, okay? You got a bakery, that's your new startup business. You take out a loan to do so, but the bakery is not successful, and the bakery goes out of business. And now you owe money on that loan. Well, that money has to be paid, and the bank will come for your personal belongings to do that. Your house, your car, your jewelry, all of that can be seized to cover business losses. So if you're going to start a small business and you've got a good idea, that's great and that's wonderful, but always be aware of this very important disadvantage, because it could cost you your house if you don't do it well. Another way to run a business is through a partnership, which has advantages and disadvantages of its own. What a partnership is at its root is a business that is owned by two or more people. So it's like that sole proprietorship, except for you're not going to do it by yourself. You're going to do it with somebody else. Two people, or three, or five, or six, or 10, or 12 are going to sit down and come to an agreement, get together, and start this business together. That is a partnership. And it is a legal agreement to share responsibilities and to share profits. Usually the people who put in the most money to get the thing started are going to own a bigger share of the business. But maybe the person who puts in the most money isn't doing as much work, so it does balance out on other factors as well. They also agree on how to divide the assets if the partnership ends. Assets are basically money once it comes down to it. A building that can be sold off, inventory that can be sold off, equipment that can be sold off. What is going to be the total division of the money that's left once the entire business is sold off and it's done? Advantages of partnerships. Well, partnerships allow people to focus on their area of expertise and or interest. If you've got three people involved in a partnership and one really loves record keeping, that can be your accountant, that can be your bookie, that can be the person who sits down and does the numbers for your business. You've got somebody else who really likes interacting with people. Well, they're going to be up front. They're going to be interacting with your customers and managing customer relationships. Maybe these two people hate the other person's job. It works out great in a partnership that they can divide their roles. In a sole proprietorship, the person who hates interacting with people has to interact with people. The person who hates doing numbers has to do numbers. It doesn't work out quite as well. Also, if the business fails, I skipped over one. It's easier for partnerships to borrow money because the partners have more assets. When a bank looks at whether or not they're going to loan you business, if you're a sole proprietor, they say, okay, if your business fails, can your individual house afford to pay off the business loan? We talked about in disadvantages for sole proprietorships. In a partnership, the same deal exists. You still have to be able to pay off your loan, but now you've got three people with three sets of assets, three houses that could potentially be sold off. So the risk for the bank is less. Therefore, they're more likely to loan you money. Also, if the risk of the business failing is spread out amongst the partners. So again, if the the business fails and a bunch of money is owed to the bank, these three people might be able to sell off, their savings accounts and their jewelry and their cars, but keep their houses. The risk is a little bit less for each of the individuals. All right, disadvantage of a partnership. Working in groups can sometimes be slow because you don't always have the exact same idea or always want to go in the exact same direction. So you have to talk things over and you have to come as close to an agreement of everybody involved as you can possibly get. Also, if you're the individual and you're in that business and you don't like what the business is doing, you want to go left and the business wants to go right, you want to focus the bakery on baking bread and they want to switch over to doing desserts, well, now you're part of a group. And if you're that individual who wants to continue baking bread at that bakery and everybody else wants to focus on cookies and pies, well, they can outvote you. And if you get outvoted, not like this hippo here, this would be a partner who would put in most of the investments. The hippo doesn't care if he's outvoted, he goes where he wants to go. Well, you're not the hippo. You're one of these guys. And you're going to have to wind up doing a job that you don't necessarily want to do. That's a partnership. All right, well, thank you for joining me today for Economics and You. I hope you learned something today, and farewell.
So how's the video? I know you have learned many advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietor and partnership. So now this is the summary. Let's conclude today's lesson by just identifying what we have learned in today's lesson. So about a partnership business, that's a legal form of business operation between two or more individuals who share management and profit. So you have to remember that partners will be the owners of the business, they will be taking part in managing the business, and also they will be sharing the profit, loss and the risks among all the partners. And this is the advantage of partnership business. Losses can be shared, more capital can be raised as all the partners will be investing in the business. The disadvantage of partnership, sharing profits among partners. So when we share the profits among partners, the amount of profit each partner will get will be lower. And the conflicts among all the partners when they take decisions. So this is the homework for you. You're supposed to do activity 4.3. That's in your textbook, page number 84. So activity 4.3, that's in your textbook, page number 84. So this is about the sole trade and partnership business. In the next lessons, you will be learning other forms of business organizations. So before you leave, make sure that you have marked your attendance. Okay? So you can scan QR code or you can follow the link. Thank you.